players back during that 6-year span. There weren't half of them there that are here. Very impressive. I realize they're from various parts of the country, but so are you. But there wasn't the bonding, there wasn't the fellowship, there wasn't the relationship that got developed here for your class, both in 91 and 96, and many of the other classes as well. Says something for Division III football, and the things that you got out of it, things that you put into it, and the relationships that formed and have never stopped forming. Certainly, one of the things you're entitled to do is to embellish some of the things that you did. Just like I do. Old age allows you to do it all the time, see? Your guys got an excuse too, and that's the period of time. That 50-yard run was 80. That crushing tackle was, you know what? And it's just a wonderful thing to have this take place in facilities like this, which you could only dream about 20-some years ago when we were here. It's really amazing. A lot of things have changed here, especially the music. What's with that? But I'll tell you what, and you hired a coach here that will do a great job here for this school and for you guys and for people that he brings into this program, because he gets what it takes to win here. We never, that I remember, told a group of guys they got to win. I don't ever remember saying that because I never believed in that. I believe that, you know, if you don't win, the sun is still going to come up in the east, right, and set in the west, and, you know, the earth isn't going to change. But the thing that I always tried to get across is someday, excuse me, you'll lose on the scoreboard, but you don't have to be beaten. And I remember when I was at Dowling and we, after I retired here and went to a couple years hiatus and not coaching, we were down the valley in the first half, 38-0. And we had some of the most unusual misfortune take place in that game. 2 block punts where they had 4-yard drives and stuff like that. And they were a great team. And I told my guys at halftime, and the whole team listened, I said, look, you know, you're doing some real good things out there. Things aren't falling your way. I didn't want to rip up a blackboard or, you know, yell expletives. I wanted to tell them, I don't know if you can win this game, but I don't think you need to be beaten. And by God, they came back and it was wound up being 38-27 or 28, something like that. We ran out of time. We lost on the scoreboard, but I was really proud of those guys because they were not beaten. And I think that's a lesson that we take into life and we apply to whatever we're doing. You know, when I left Iowa State, I didn't know exactly what I was going to do in coaching. Had a couple opportunities were at the Division I level, and a couple high school opportunities. I was really considering coming back to coach at the high school level because I really had enjoyed that more than anything else I'd ever done. And then John and I started talking, Coach Sirianni, about coaching at a Division III school. Never considered that. Didn't consider it. That was below my station in life, but I never thought about that because it was a non-scholarship situation. But I talked to some coaches that I knew that coached at the Division III level, and they said, you know, it's really a great experience. And the more I talked to John, I realized that there was an experience here for me that was a great challenge, but also there was a heck of a lot to sell here. There was no scholarship involved, but there were other things that would kind of balance that off. Number one, it was a great school academically. I'd heard about that and knew that that was its reputation. So that was a good thing to sell to anybody. Because I always told kids when we recruited them, you pick the school that you will be comfortable in academically, that you will, football might be one play. Some guys, it wasn't even one play. It was sneaking out at night and but it really allowed you to pick one focus on one area, that if there was no football, would I be in the right place for my education? If you operate from that premise, then you look at the school. It's a great school academically. It's in a smaller community, which has some real advantages, where it's a focal point of a small community, and it's part of a metro area, the biggest one in the state, where internships, job opportunities, recreationally things to do that are available to you. So you had the best of both worlds. What a hell of a thing to sell, to be honest with you. So we really went after recruiting aggressively when we came here. Had good fortune to have a really good freshman class. Even though we started late, we really had a good year in terms of the quality of the players, the quality of the individuals themselves, and the talent that they had. And had a couple transfers come in with them, and obviously built the base for the future. I was telling, I can't remember who I was talking to, but my first year here, we weren't overly talented. Cupboard was rather bare. There was some good senior players, but not hardly any. And the junior class was limited. And we were going to play Central. And I never, had learned in life to hate Central, but I learned that lesson in a hurry. And here's why I learned it. I remember riding in the bus and parking where we parked to go dress. And here there were 4 or 5 big Central football players, big linemen, I suppose, that walked over and introduced themselves and said they'd help us carry our bags and stuff in. Well, I said, no, we're not very strong, we're not very big, but we can carry our own goddamn bags. And it was Ron Skipper's way of, it was his Christian duty to help us that way. Can you believe that? It's bullshit, isn't it? It was his way of intimidating, wasn't it? So after the game, and we actually played pretty good in the ball game. We got lost on the scoreboard. We weren't beaten. We came off that field feeling pretty good about ourselves. And he come across and put his arm around me and says, keep working hard and everything will work out for you. In a patronizing goddamn way. And so I muttered under my breath, you better believe it. So we got after it good, had recruited a good freshman class, and things rolled on there. And in a muddy night, in a muddy afternoon, in a muddy field, we beat them for the conference championship the next year, and went on to play, I think it was Wisconsin Whitewater at Valley Stadium, the old Valley Stadium. And he come across the field after the game, did not want to shake hands, really was downcast. I congratulated him and says, well, you got a great ball club, just keep working hard. So, the reason I came was because I really liked this job, because kids played for the same reason they did in high school, and yet obviously didn't have a scholarship involved, but they played for the same reason they did in high school. And that meant a lot to me, because it meant you were going to coach kids that really like to play. I coached Division I kids that the only reason they played was they had a scholarship in their back pocket. Otherwise they wouldn't have put up with all the crap, that we pulled up, and you guys put up with, right? Because they didn't like it that much. They just liked, the fact they had a free education. So I just believe that one of the great and most important things in my life is when I became a Division III coach and accepted the challenges that existed. And it wasn't easy, and it's still never easy, because you don't have financial aid, you don't You always are working with admissions to get kids in school, because it's a school of, very, very high standards, which is good, Only thing I ever asked for was a level playing field. We had the same opportunities that Wartburg or Central or those schools had. And if we didn't have that at times, we just had to work a little bit harder and, canvass I think the area that we were recruiting a little bit closer, and then, recruit the right kind of kids that would not only develop, but had the intestinal fortitude, just the makeup that, you would get a bunch of guys that would come to play and they'd come and fight. I always thought we had kids here that they wouldn't care, the other team's bus pulled up. We'd take them right on as it came up the bus. if it was in the parking lot. But it was a great experience for me here, and I'm resuming my coaching career after a 2-year hiatus. When Coach Wilson was hired at Simpson, Eric Dowling, he asked me if I'd coach the O-line there for him. And initially, I thought, well, I don't know if this is something I want to do, and how kids would relate to me in my strange ways, but things have gone well. I said I'd do it for a couple of years, help him get things started in the right way if I could. And then it's 12 years later, and I lost track of time. Or I'm afraid to stop coaching, I guess. I don't know what it is. But I still enjoy what I do and how I do it, and the kids that I work with and what they get out of it. So this is a great thrill for me today. It means a lot to me to hear that song when I went out there. It made me feel, I'm not real emotional anymore, but it made me feel pretty emotional. And I want to congratulate everybody in here that took the time to come back and reconnect with their friends. I know that today with the social media and all the things that you have that we never had, and I still never had. I barely can run my remote. I can handle my legal pad yet, but you do have the ability to connect and stay connected, and urge you to do that, and congratulate you and your families, your careers, and being back here to enjoy today, a very, very special homecoming day. So with that said, good luck to all of you. I've got to leave by 5:30, but I'd sure like to hang around for a while after you get done and visit with anybody I haven't visited with. Don't be offended if I don't recognize you immediately, because you've changed. I don't know if I have, but if I hear your name, everything unfolds. My brain just works that way. In other words, yeah, he made that big run. Lehman ran over Captain Marinsky on the 20-yard line when he ran a fake punt that he wasn't supposed to run. And I'm glad that he did. And that was one of the great moments in coaching that I'll never forget. We smacked his ass on the 15-yard line like you couldn't believe. And that was really personal. Anyway, thanks again for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I hope they repeat this every year for the classes of 25, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, who knows. But take advantage of time, take advantage of the opportunities you have, the enjoyment of your family, and the enjoyment, things that have bonded you together as two classes that achieve the same result. Thanks a lot, okay?